Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Return to the planet of the apes.
Welcome to another episode of Go Ape Podcast. I'm your host, Jon Randall, and with me as always,
Brandon Geringer.
And we're here every week until a mutant forces me to drown Brandon in a drinking fountain.
Oh, that would be fun.
It could happen.
Whatever, I'm pretty strong.
How was your week?
It was better than the last week, so that's good. The diet's going a little bit well. I've had a couple of days that I've wanted to cheat.
I didn't ask.
Oh.
About the diet.
Oh, I thought we were talking about how my week was going.
Well, I mean, is food become your life?
Yes.
Or lack thereof?
When you don't have it, it does. But other than that, yeah, pretty good. Got some new role-playing books.
It is free RPG day.
It is free RPG day today on this Saturday. And I got a couple good books from that and a couple cool things. So overall, pretty well. My anger level was to a minimum at most times. So, yeah, pretty good. What about you?
I would think you'd be angrier having the lack of bread and carbs.
No. It's all right. It's just a little maddening. That's all. Not anger, but madness.
I understand that. Let me tell you about maddening. Okay. I went to Heroes Con today, Heroes Convention.
Where is that? Where is that at?
Charlotte, North Carolina, every year.
I've heard of that place.
About an hour and 15-minute drive from our home. It's a great show. I had a good time today overall. I went with the purpose of specifically trying to finish my Volume 4 run of TMNT. And I found no books for my set. I did find one of the 6 books I needed.
That's good.
Unfortunately, it's the book that's limited to 1,000 copies, and a guy wanted $250 for it.
That's detrimental.
And I actually told him, that's way overpriced, man.
What do you say to that?
He's like, well, I got a lot invested in it. I was like,
okay.
I was like, I don't know what you spent on this, but you shouldn't have spent more than like $80.
He got hosed. He's trying to hose you.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
Sell your wares. And he even told me, he said I've had this for a long time. I've been holding on to it for a long time. Like, he hasn't been able to sell it.
It's become a personal, like, it means something to him, I guess.
I guess, man. I offered him, I was like, I won't pay more than $100 for that book. And even that, to me, is high. Because, like I said, I feel like I should be able to get that book for like $80.
Wow.
But, yeah, so I didn't get that. I did meet a couple of the people, artists from the Mirage era of working on the books. One of them did me a very cool sketch, Leonardo sketch.
It's okay.
It's good.
It's good.
It's real good.
It's really.
You can check my Twitter, not the Go Ape Twitter, but the
Ape Randall.
Ape Randall Twitter, and I put a picture of it up on
That's
there.
cool.
So,
and it's got Leonardo. He's the best turtle and the leader of the turtles.
Yep.
Unless you're listening to that music video where it says Raphael's the leader.
The leader of the group.
It's heresy.
I don't think Partners in Crime or whatever they were called. I don't think they had a clue what they were talking about.
Well, Leonardo is the best turtle, so that's good because he's cool.
Special shout out this week to Rick Crespo
once again. Crespo. Why do you?
It's Crespo because that's what he has on Twitter.
Right.
I always mess that up. I'm sorry, Rick. You're a loyal listener.
He's our number one fan.
You gave us a 5-star review on iTunes, which I found out this week for everybody else listening. 5-star for every star you give us on your review on iTunes, it guarantees that you live a year longer in your life.
It's not a bad idea.
So,
I like that.
Rick, enjoy your 5 extra years.
Yeah, it's 5 extra years for Rick.
And the rest of you should get on that.
Yeah, you're kind of slack. You're slack, to be honest with you. If you like this podcast, which there's got to be some depraved soul out there that does, if you're liking it, then throw up a review. That would help, right? Because people will sit there. It doesn't have your reviews up at the top. It has to have the average of reviews, and so people sometimes they want to see 5 stars up there, and ooh, it's got 5 stars. People like it. I've got to be like people, so I'm a lemming like them. So let's check it out. So we are trying to capitalize on that lemming mentality, right?
Absolutely. And I want to apologize right now also to our listeners because last week we promised you that James Franco would be on the podcast. And unfortunately, I had the computer sound muted while we were recording. We missed his call on Skype during the show.
Sure did.
Very disappointed by that. We have spoken to Mr. Franco. He will be on the show today. We have it all ironed out.
Yep.
No problems.
Squeeze him in at the end. He'll be at the end.
We will put James Franco in at the end of the podcast after our review of Beneath Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
So
he said he's just going to wait if he has to.
So everybody has that to look forward to. But yeah, I mean that's been pretty much our week, I think.
Yeah, pretty good. What is this episode about?
This episode, obviously, Beneath Planet of the Apes.
That's the sequel to Planet of the Apes.
Yep. Came out in 1969.
I thought it was 1970.
I'm almost certain it's 69.
It says 69 on the bottom, but I thought it wasn't released till 70.
Whatever. It was recorded in 69.
All right. Well,
facts aren't important on our show.
No, facts are loose. And what did you say they were? They were something.
Fast and loose.
Fast and loose.
We play it fast and loose here on Go Ape Podcast.
I don't think there's anything else we really got to say before we start hitting the meat of the movie.
Just our contact information. I want to throw it out there.
Okay.
Go Ape Podcast Show at gmail.com. Go Ape Podcast on Twitter. And, of course, Go Ape Podcast on the iTunes.
Yep, on the iTunes. So, hopefully you've been enjoying these, and we're going to continue on. Tonight, we will be watching the third movie. It's called Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
It's garbage.
It's not garbage. It's a good film. He's incorrect. And
I want to be up front. I had never seen Escape from the Planet of the Apes, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and Battle of the Planet of the Apes until we watched them this first go round on our
life pack
of watching something Planet of the Apes every week.
Correct.
And like I said, I hated this movie. Not Beneath, but I hated Escape. So I'm not looking forward to tonight after the podcast.
And I'm looking forward to you not liking the movie. So that'll be fun to rag you and to I'm going to be you're going to have just tons of notes, I'm certain, because you'll be ragging it out every single scene, and then I'll be trying to sit there and defend it with a bunch of things, written down that's good about the movie. But does the movie have a little bit of junk in it? Sure, it's got a little bit of trash, but it's cool. It's got it's just a different take, and we'll talk about it more. But it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be a battle of the brains. I guess that we have whatever brains we've got. It's going to be a battle of them. And I will be victorious, and that's because
a battle of wits.
It'll be a battle of wits, and because I have powers over it. So that's just how it is. It'll make sense whenever I say how good it is, and then you'll be saying, it doesn't have Charlton Heston, doesn't have this stuff, and
well, that's not important to me because it has Roddy McDowall, and he is the best thing in all of the Planet of the Apes movies, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter. He's not going to save that film. I've seen it already.
Well, maybe don't go into it with a bad attitude again on the second try. Maybe try to go into it this time thinking that it's going to be a good film.
I hope I go into it about at 39 winks. I'll get my 40th wink the moment the movie starts.
You know what you need to do? You need to go ape while you're watching the movie.
Go ape.
It's trademark. All right.
please don't steal it.
Yeah, please don't steal it.
Like we did.
No, you can steal it. No, we want it popular. We want it popular.
We stole it. But if 20th Century Fox ever gets a hold of this and listens, this is free advertising for you, so please don't sue us.
Yes, we love you, and go Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which last trailer came out. Looks awesome. I know you didn't see it, though, right?
I haven't seen the latest one.
Looks fantastic. They've got...
it releases in the middle of July, right?
Yeah.
It's a couple weeks away.
Something like that.
Like 3 weeks.
Soon. But I think it's... The name of the ape is Koba. I think the big ape or something. He's on a horseback. He's like dual wielding like M60s. It was awesome scene.
They based him on me.
Sure they did. Well, your face.
So, all right. I think for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, we need to take our whole setup, microphone, laptop,
it'd be thrown
to
out
the movie opening night.
It'd be thrown out of a theater.
We'll live podcast from the movie.
Yeah. And then
and nobody's gonna have a problem with that.
And we'll just beat them off with sticks or bats.
Or we pull our numerous dollars and we rent out the whole theater, just the two of us.
Wow, how much would that be?
I don't know, but we're very rich. We're not rich.
No, it's terrible.
I struggle to pay for this microphone, everyone, to make things sound better.
Well, you did terrible.
For you, the listeners.
You did terrible things to get this microphone.
For you, the listeners.
Listeners? It's Rick. No. There's some other people out there. Good buddies of our friends have watched it, and it's been well received by the people that are smiling at us. And they could be lying because they're friends.
Right.
They're embarrassed for us, and good podcast, man, good podcast. A lot of that. I laughed. It was humorous.
I think at the Red Epic on Twitter, he also enjoyed it.
He's a very good guy. His name's Jared Blenda. Very cool. All right. So what else? Anything else before we get into Beneath?
I don't believe so. I think
we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, surprisingly, we both took a lot of notes for this film.
Yeah. And this film, I have a buddy that he puts this as number 1. No, he puts it as number 2. He's got Conquest first, and then Beneath.
I, too, like to live dangerously.
It's going against the grain a little bit, but that's all right. So, I think we're ready. Are we ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Starts off, the first 5 minutes of the film is the end of the last movie.
Yep, so you have to endure Charlton Heston looking like somebody from Mad Men.
Yep. His fop hairdo. You still get to see a little bit of Lucius. Who you love.
Well, I mean, he's just such a punk.
The flower child ape that he is.
He's trash. He's a trash ape.
I believe, don't we hear Cornelius reading from the scrolls again?
Yeah, we hear all that. It's like the same. It's the ending. It gets, gets people's attention span. They couldn't remember what happened. That's fine. But Charlton Heston is in this movie,
yes,
which originally he didn't want to be in. Okay, he didn't want to be in this movie. And when, I believe one of the producers pretty much said, Charlton, help me out here.
Do me a favor.
Yeah, do me a solid. Do me this kindness.
I owe you one, buddy.
Exactly. He said, okay, I'll do it, but I want Charlton Heston to die.
Taylor.
I want Taylor. Charlton Heston said, I want Taylor to die.
The producer said, I want Charlton
You're going to die in
to
this
die.
film. Yes, sir. And so he only agreed if he died, and, little small fact, you know where I got this from? IMDb. That's where I got it from. He gave his salary to charity for making this movie. Pretty cool of him, right?
Well, yeah. Unfortunately for the viewers, we had to deal with his horse teeth again at the start of the film.
My God.
While he was trying to teach Nova to speak. After they ride off, he sees the Statue of Liberty. I guess he coped pretty well because he didn't seem to be insane.
He deals with it.
So next thing I know, they're sitting in a mud pit, and he's trying to teach her how to say Taylor, and for him and for her to say Nova.
Somehow he's got his dog tags.
Yeah, I don't know where those came from.
Don't know where those came from.
Yeah, he was. I guess he kept them in his pants the whole time.
His teeth are all over the screen. It looks like an episode of Mr. Ed, is what it looks like. For a brief moment, his teeth are just so all over the place. Hideous teeth. But he's a great guy. Loved him. He's awesome.
Yep.
And actually, in our first episode, we said that we liked a movie called Windy City Heat. He's actually in Windy City Heat, if you go watch that film. So, little known fact.
Does it have a cameo?
It's a cameo. With Charlton Heston in Windy City Heat. So very interesting little cross the streams is what they did. They crossed the streams.
Don't cross the streams.
Don't cross the stream. It still has Kim Hunter as Dr. Zero.
Yep.
But your boy, Roddy McDowall, is not in it. Instead, he's played by a guy named David Watson, who I believe did a very good job at kind of mimicking Roddy McDowall.
Yeah, I think he was fine. I mean, really, ultimately, when you see the movie, he's barely in it.
Yeah, he's not in it very much, but what he is in it...
I mean, him and Dr. Zero both are barely in it.
Right. If you don't pay attention to it very much, you would think that it's him.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that.
Yeah.
Originally seeing it.
And the other new player is James Franciscus as Brent.
Who's great.
He's the main character of the movie. I am a big fan of Brent as a character and the actor. I thought he did a great job. And through my IMDb learning... I found out that he was very well. He's a big athlete, like tennis player and stuff like that. So he was really easy for him to go into the role. So he's a cool guy. I liked him a lot. I liked his hair in particular. I thought his hair was gorgeous. But that's just.
Well, they clearly cast him because he looked like Charlton Heston.
Exactly. They wanted to be able to throw a guy up there on the trailers and on the posters.
That might confuse people.
It'll
lure them in.
Yeah, it was a bit of a lure. So that's the cast for this. Little difference than from what we're doing before, but Charlton Heston is in this movie.
Yep. Later.
So,
well, he's like I said,
he's in the beginning,
very beginning for a few minutes, and then he's at the end of the movie.
So you're getting a mixture of two cool guys, Charlton Heston and this James Franciscus, which unfortunately he's not with us either with Charlton Heston, but I'd have loved to have been able to meet him and to be like, you were awesome, and so good casting once again, and.
The two of them are in the forbidden zone in the sky.
Exactly. It is forbidden. But, so the movie starts off, and guess what? What happens? Another crash. Another spacecraft.
This spacecraft clearly not as intelligent as the last, as it crashes right into the desert.
Yeah, right into the ground.
Doesn't look for water like the first one did.
And Brent's skipper, his captain, has obviously sustained some sort of mortal wound, and he goes KO quickly in the beginning of the movie. He's KO, and Brent has to bury him. Okay, so he's there. He's got a shovel, and he's having to bury his guy there. And guess who shows up? Somehow, this vast forbidden zone. Maybe she's...
That nobody's supposed to even be in.
Yeah, nobody's even supposed to be in. Well, she's in it. We know that she was in it before, because it's the forbidden zone. But I guess maybe she saw it from a distance, the spaceship crash. But it had taken a while to bury that dude's body, obviously. Here comes Nova. The only other person on this planet, human...
Who knew Taylor. Cornelius could possibly be in the forbidden zone for some reason. Probably not. He knows the answer. Dr. Zero? Nah, probably not. So the only other person who knows Taylor is Nova, and she can't speak. She shows up on horseback. But it does show what happens to Taylor before that. It shows that he started seeing these illusions, we believe, of fire and of a great-looking earthquake, like a great rending in the ground. But she's not there. I mean, he's not there, and Nova shows up. And, of course, the dog tags is a huge plot element. Thank God that she had the dog tags from Taylor. Right? Yeah, I was trying to read my note here I made about what you were talking about with all the illusions that he was seeing. I put, meets Nova, flashes to Taylor and Nova in Forbidden Zone, getting hit with everything the mutants have, is what I said.
Yeah.
Fire, lightning, earthquakes, and a blockade.
Yeah, a huge blockade.
But none of that was going to stop Taylor. He was just like, whatever.
So, yeah, but I will say that the tremor kind of, the crevice that opens up with that earthquake looked very cool. I thought it looked good. I don't know how exactly they did that, but I thought it was a really good looking thing. Again, tons of Charlton Heston tea throughout this scene, so that's enjoyable to look at. And so he obviously sees the dog tags. He's got his dog tags. He sees Taylor. Where's Taylor? Yada yada yada. He doesn't take anything from the ship. He just hops on the horse, and he's like, we're going to go find him.
Yeah. He forces Nova, with her limited English, to lead him to Taylor. Take me to Taylor. So, she's got dumb mouth, because she can barely speak. That's what I refer to her as, dumb mouth. And she takes him to Ape City. Of all the places, like, where's Taylor?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take you to Ape City.
I mean, she can't talk, and she knows that Dr. Zira and Cornelius can talk, so...
Why would she risk going there, though?
That is true.
I mean, like, why would you even risk it, going near there?
Yeah. How? So, they go to Ape City. How does Brent... how does he receive, the knowledge that this is a planet full of apes?
I believe he's a bit shocked, because going on right in the middle of the town square is it Ursus? General Ursus?
General Ursus is our new bad guy in this movie.
And he's sitting there addressing everybody. The Science Council, the orangutans, the chimpanzees,
the
gorillas.
Soldiers.
He's addressing everybody. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is a slew of terrible-looking masks. Nothing but slack-jawed monkeys everywhere you look. Oh, my God.
Like, no eyes in their head, just slack-jawed, just absolute... ridiculous masks.
I mean, we're talking about quality masks that you can go out at Halloween and go buy at a costume store.
Well, the problem is that there's some of them that are obviously in the makeup, and then there's some that are not. So they stand out like sore thumbs.
It's only the people that have speaking roles that are in, obviously, makeup, because they have to make the mouth move.
Right. Or they're... excuse me. They're just standing there.
How dare you cough?
I know. Darn my cough. They're just standing there, maybe talking or hooting or hollering, but these other ones are just like, they're like monsters almost, just kind of standing there in the midst of them. But you really get to see the B-team makeup and masks.
I can't begin to see the B-team doesn't even cover it. I mean, we're talking some C and D team apes in here.
This is like real Halloween masks.
I mean, they're just terrible. They're so bad.
Surprised you didn't see a rubber band going around the back of the head.
And then all I could think about with him preaching what he was talking about, whatever it was, I don't remember the details now, but
it's about the Forbidden Zone, and that they have seen these
mutants.
Well, the illusions.
Illusions. And they got to figure out what they are.
They got to figure out what's going on with them. They got to fight back about whatever it is. They believe it's something to do with humans or whatever.
And of course, Dr. Zaius doesn't want him to go, but everybody cheers on General Ursus,
who has an awesome hat. His helmet looks great.
I'll give you
his
that.
Helmet.
Yeah, his costume looks very, very good. But all I could think about was watching the scene. You know, I thought, man, like 20. Let's see, if that came out in 70, 28 years later, George Lucas is going to take that and he's going to have Natalie Portman say, "And this is how democracy dies," to thunderous applause.
That's terrible.
Because that's pretty much what it was. That's what it harkened in my mind to.
Star Wars references.
Well, George Lucas, he did a lot, and they started the marketing, the mass marketing of toys, not Planet of the Apes.
Wow, it's heresy.
It's all lies. I don't even believe it myself.
Trash. And then what? Oh, Brent. You know what Brent says? "I'm out of here." He's like, "I'm not staying for this shit."
Yeah. So he's like, "We're getting the hell out of here."
He's smart. He's like, "You know what? This is crazy. I'm getting out of here."
So him and Nova take off, and then there's an ape on patrol, a single ape.
Yep,
with
single
a
ape.
going.
They're going through the brush and the trees and stuff, and this dude takes such a shot.
This ape hates bushes the way that previous apes hate Taylor's neck.
Yeah, and he just fires off a shot. Just happens to hit Brent,
who makes no noise.
I know.
Not a peep. He takes a bullet to the arm, hits him in the arm.
It's a grazing shot.
Doesn't make a sound.
Still.
Doesn't make a sound.
He knows. I guess it's a life or death thing. But you know what's cool about that scene? You get to see a cool pistol from that dude. He had an actual handgun.
Yeah, he had a handgun, not a rifle. Yeah,
very cool. I like that he had something a little bit different. But man, what just a kind of a reckless shot into the trees. I think I saw something. I'll just shoot into it. And then we have a scene, and this scene, I know that you were extremely excited about this scene.
The bathhouse scene.
It's the sauna. They're in a sauna.
The gorilla bathhouse.
It's the gorilla bathhouse, and you get to see Dr. Zaius and General Ursus in towels.
And that's all.
That's it.
Now, let's talk about this for a second, because we discussed last time how ridiculously hot those outfits had to be.
Yeah.
And this room is covered with steam.
Oh, man. Hopefully it was just like smoke, maybe. It did look like smoke, didn't it?
No, because you could see it glistening on their chest. I was really checking out General Ursus's ape chest.
He had some pecs.
Yeah, very strong pecs and chest. And it was really glistening. So I definitely think it was steam. All I know is the actors that had to have been in the suits, number one, had to have been stuntmen. Number two, had to have died after it was shot. I mean, I think both those are facts that we cannot argue with.
They were just thrown in the trash after the scene was done.
They're like throw their body and suits right into the garbage.
Dispose of these. But they look very fat, didn't they, when they didn't have any clothes on?
It's probably stuntmen.
They look fat. I don't know.
Yeah, they looked rough for sure. I mean, they were bigger without clothes on than they were with clothes.
And then we have Brent going to go meet Dr. Zero and Cornelius.
Because despite the fact he was like, "Let's get the hell out of here," he somehow ends up inside their house.
He's been shot. He needs help.
Yep. Nova's like, "Come on, I'm going to take you somewhere."
And he just really takes that in stride, doesn't he? Like dealing with these apes. Like he doesn't have it's a madhouse, or, he's not really amazed. I mean, he's amazed, but it's just, I don't know, he's just kind of like,
I guess he just accepts it. This is what's happening.
This is the situation I'm in, so let's deal with it.
Cornelius is smoking a pipe, Lord of the Rings style.
Yep, Lord of the Rings style, smoking of a pipe. And so he escapes, he gets away, and him and Nova are trying to escape, right? And out of nowhere, again, the gorilla's extreme net skills come into play as he's quickly captured back.
It's the Gorilla Brute Squad.
That is true.
I mean, it starts off like you see 3 guys, and then all of a sudden there's like 20 dudes in this patrol.
Yeah, and they're master netsmen.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. There's like 20 guys in their patrol going after him.
So, he's captured. They're captured, and they're in these... Now, I've got to say something about the human population that's on the Planet of the Apes. I mean, come on. I know that they're supposed to be animals, and an animal might try to hit at a cage or something, but they're not going to keep on going at the cage bars, trying to get them open. All the humans are just going absolutely berserk. They're constantly trying to get the cage open, or use their strength on the bars or something. It's like, deal with it. You're not getting out of these cages. Deal with it, dumbass.
Well, until they put Brent there, and then they all stop and really stare at Brent because he's the new meat.
He's got nice blonde hair.
Yeah, shirtless, nice blonde hair, a better looking, less horse teeth Charlton Heston.
Yeah,
is what he
shorter
is.
too, so he's not as.
We'll get to his height later.
Yeah, we'll get to his height now.
But yeah, I mean, he's the new meat in town, and they were severely eyeing him down when he got in there.
Yep, could be his nice tan build he had too.
Yeah, he was going to belong to some caveman for sure.
Probably so.
Caveman.
Well, they were. They were worse than cavemen, if you ask me. Almost, absolutely morons. And then we have a very cool ape training kind of montage.
Gorilla calisthenics.
Yeah,
they're practically doing jumping jacks. And,
man! But it's a cool scene with them. Again, netting humans.
I believe there were some whip skills practiced on live people.
Massive whip skills.
And of course, where the whip's going when they fling them out.
To the neck.
Straight to the neck.
They hate necks.
It's obviously the prone spot for a human being. So if you're listening out there and you get into a fight, just punch somebody right in the throat.
Yep.
I mean, that's where to do it, obviously. These apes have taught us.
So they're put back into the cells. Dr. Zier and Cornelius, Dr. Zier obviously knows that he's back in their captivity. He's transported again.
The cells, by the way, are like the most well-built, spindly cages ever made.
Pretty much.
I mean, it looks like this. It looks like the thinnest bamboo they could have chopped down. Yet somehow they're not tearing down.
It holds back the hordes of humanity that constantly keep trying to fight against them.
Yes. So they throw him in a. Would you say a wagon? Right.
They throw him in a wagon. Dr. Zier gives him doesn't lock it
and blows him a kiss.
Why? Oddly.
She said Charlton Heston was ugly.
Yeah.
This guy's
she just met this guy.
Yeah, she doesn't even know this guy.
He's a good-looking dude, though.
She has no investment in this dude's welfare.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that he can talk, and it's only the second person. He can talk. He can sing. No. We'll cover that in a later episode as well, if you don't get the reference.
They should. They're smart people.
But, yeah, I mean, she has no investment in him other than the fact that it's the second human who can speak. You can't do anything with that.
No.
And, yeah, she blows me a kiss, which I don't understand, because
it's odd. She
thought Taylor was ugly, which, granted, he's a better-looking version of Taylor.
Or unless it was just the only type of way she could say good luck or,
That's wrong, because she says good luck.
That's true.
She uses her words.
And then, and I'm going to say this about Beneath the Planet of the Apes, okay? Going forward, I think that the movie has got, I would use the terms, almost nonstop action throughout the whole movie. Something that I think is lacking in the first movie. And lacking, except for Conquest. Conquest has got a lot of butt kicking. And so does Battle towards the end.
And Escape... Oh.
Well, the Escape's got shopping, Jonathan. And I think everybody can enjoy some shopping. We all like to shop and buy stuff for ourselves. So that's what they take.
Can't wait to sleep tonight through that movie.
Yeah, you better not. You got loyal fans that want to hear your views on it.
No, well, they're pretty much hearing them now.
All right. So I just think it's got... Back then, they would have called it a roller coaster film, where it's got a lot of action, a lot of cool stuff going on in it. And this leads up to the next scene, which is a very cool cart fight scene, where you
in front of projection screen.
In front of projection screen. A little bit of projection screen going on there.
Yeah, definitely.
But a good fight with him and the driver of the car.
Stagecoach fight.
I like that scene. And
it's a good one.
It is a good scene. It does use, I believe, as rear projection, not green screen, which I prefer projection. Back in those days, to green screen.
Yeah. I mean, projection was, I believe, I believe it reached its pinnacle in
Terminator 2.
No. What's the movie with Mick Jagger and Amelia Estevez?
Oh my God, Free Jack. Trash.
It reached its pinnacle. That was the pinnacle of projection screen.
If you ever watch, if Free Jack's ever on and you're drunk or you just want to hate yourself,
or scoop your eyeballs out,
yeah, watch that film. Emilio Estevez, and then Rolling Stones lead singer. What's his name?
Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger is in this. And man, what a trash film. But that's really getting off. I mean, we're hitting like the bottom of the barrel with that film. But what a disappointment. And I remember watching that as a kid and just being like, this is dookie. So he has a cool fight scene. And then he immediately, okay, now get this straight, people. He's an astronaut, right? When was the last time this dude's been on a horse? He rides this horse like a champ. Like innate horsemanship from this dude. Well, makes him cool again. It makes him, again, it's another sign that Brent is a badass.
It's a check in his cool column.
It really is. It's very cool. So innate innate horse riding skills. It's not a slow movie, I don't believe. It's got some parts towards the end where they're trying to do a little bit of, explain some stuff to you. But I just think it's got a lot of action, and that's one of the reasons why I think I rate it so high, is because of the action and the people that show up towards the end and kind of the way the story goes. But I think people need to understand that when they, it's not like today where everybody says, oh, we're making Batman. Oh, great. Y'all already working on Batman 4 or something like that. Like, there's got to be all these movies afterwards, all these sequels. Back then, they didn't even know if they were going to be able to fund the movie. They didn't even know if they were going to be able to make a second one. It was like, please give us the money to make this movie. Okay, here's half of it. We made the movie. It was a big hit. Hey, can we make this movie? Can we make another movie? I don't know. Well, you're going to have to take another budget hit. And so, okay, finally we got our budget. We got to deal with it. So we get our B-team faces, on the monkeys. Sorry, I apologize. On the apes. And then it's the same thing. So at the second one, they thought this was going to be it. Especially the way this movie ends.
Yeah, especially the way it ends.
So I want to make sure that people that listen to this know that when you're watching these movies, you need to understand that this is not the mentality of Hollywood today, where it's like, we made one movie, let's go ahead and greenlight 4 other ones, which is absolutely just stupid. Like
Battlefield Earth and Battlefield Earth 2.
Exactly. How they immediately, before Battlefield Earth even came out in the theaters to bomb hysterically, they immediately went ahead and greenlit a Battlefield Earth 2 film. And, it's just the audacity of Hollywood to think... Now, granted, there are a lot of lemming sheeple out there that'll watch, multiple sequels. And, shoot, I saw Police Academy Moscow was on the other day. Police Academy 5, I believe it is.
8.
Is it 8?
8's Mission to Moscow.
Get out of here.
No, that's true.
Really?
That's real.
That's terrible.
8 is Mission to Moscow.
That is terrible. And I only remember stuff from, the first 2.
8 films.
Wow. Garbage.
By the time you get to that, you got Michael Winslow, I think, and Tackleberry, pretty much carrying the film at that point.
That's just terrible.
You'll cry yourself to sleep tonight over that.
Exactly.
All right, so after he gets control of this horse,
right? He's got the horse.
Him and Nova take off.
Yep.
What instantly happens? Another Guerrilla Goon Squad.
Yep.
This
instantly
one,
right after him
with rifles.
Yep.
And again, all of a sudden,
how do they know?
I don't know. They must have been on patrol, but all of a sudden, they're riding down a hill like. They look like Gandalf showing up with Éomer at the end of Two Towers. They're charging down this hill, just firing like crazy,
just wild
guns at him.
They're not as good a shot,
and they're trying to get away. Brent and them were trying to get away. Now I have written down here. You have to understand, people. This movie's an hour and a half long,
right?
Which was great. When we sat down to watch it, it was pretty late last week again, and I was like, good, it's only an hour and a half, this will be good.
That's pretty normal size for a movie back then.
Yeah. This point in the movie, we're 40 minutes into the movie, because I remember making you check the timestamp.
Right.
At 40 minutes into the film, I have written down here, maybe there's been 50 to 60 lines of dialogue.
And that's all right with me.
Almost no dialogue in this movie.
Why not action?
Nobody's talking. It's just grunts and getting away from stuff.
Power, true power. From General Zaius.
But yeah, 50 or 60 lines have been spoken at 40 minutes into the movie.
There's not much Dr. Zaius, in the
absolutely
beginning,
not. No.
Except in the Saunas scene, which seeing him.
There wasn't enough Dr. Zaius then.
That's true. We need to see more of that. But I just think it's a super action-packed film back in that time, and I think that's why I like it. I really like the posters that are used for it. It shows a lot of the cool stuff. But so from there, they find this
hole in the ground.
They find this hole in the ground, pretty much. He goes and hides with Nova.
Let's duck in here and hide.
We'll duck in here and hide. And
now this is the reckoning moment for Brent when he gets down there.
Yeah, this is good. So the apes, the gorillas that are chasing him, won't go down. They're kind of afraid of it, I believe.
Well, I don't even think they knew for sure that he went down there.
Right.
They just kind of look.
But they stay around the outside of it.
Yeah, they're really half-assed. They kind of just look and they're like,
it was an effort to go down there. And that's one that maybe it's beyond their pay grade or something. I don't know.
Maybe they thought a bee's nest was down there. I don't know.
Could be. Who knows? So, so he goes underneath the ground, and this is where you can see this is an old subway, New York City. And I personally believe that, blanket statement here, all the scenes underneath the ground, I absolutely love the way it looks. I love the way the subway looks. I love the way that the church looks later on. I just really enjoy these scenes. Now, where does the light come from and nitpicking like that? Who knows? Little cracks in the ceiling or something. Who knows? But I just really the way that these effects look. And Brent now realizes as he looks around that this is Earth, ancient subway, New York City. And I think that he did a great job at kind of portraying his disbelief that this is Earth.
I also liked it. I thought it was very well done. I mean, he doesn't have a breakdown quite like Charlton Heston did at the beach.
No.
But but
Charlton Heston had fought for so much. It was such a slower reveal for everything.
But all I'm saying is and I'm not at all comparing the two. Right. I think it's great that obviously James Franciscus, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Had seen the film at this point, and he said, he had seen the original film, and they said, okay, this is your moment like that. Yep. And I think for
your Oscar consideration.
I think he put his own spin on it very well.
He did.
And I think the way he kind of copes with it and stuff, I think it's very well portrayed. And I also liked it.
And I also think that it's his monologuing he kind of does still makes sense because Nova's still there, and I think just him being in that circumstance with another human that he can kind of relate to, it's only natural, I think, for him to try to talk. I mean, hell, I talk to my dogs, and they can't speak but just a couple words of English, so it's like, you try to kind of relate to that person. So all his monologuing to me makes sense because he wants to talk to another person. He's in a weird situation. And so, they kind of spend the night there, kind of take a little snooze there in the subway.
Meanwhile, Gorilla Goon Squad goes back to tell Ursus that they've lost him.
And then all hell breaks loose, right? I mean, the army comes out, and now that's a great scene when the army's coming out.
Well,
coming out of the town, they're in file formation. Again, another scene that kind of reminds me of like Return of the King or something.
Well, they run into a little bit of a protest before they're able to get out of town.
They do run into a protest, and guess who it is, Jonathan?
I believe it's Lucius and his hippie goon squad.
It's his terrible, dirty hippies, and they're having a sit-in.
Yeah, passive resistance. They're laying down on the road.
I got my sign and
make peace, not war.
Make peace, not war. Go cram it.
It's hilarious, man. All I could think was like, this is Lucius's cohorts, and I hate them as much as I hate him.
And they do kind of get their asses beat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, Ursus is like, get them out of the road. And instantly these gorillas just go to cracking skulls.
It's fantastic. And they also get instantly put into cages, too. Like,
Yep.
That's just a fantastic scene. But again, they're trying to attach themselves to that whole 60s, 70s hippie vibe.
And there was something else in the scene that caught my eye. Can't help but catch your eye.
Of course not. It's your favorite color.
Hot pink. Hot pink, people. Now, let's talk about this for a second.
It's an army.
It's an army, and in not one instance in their entire ape culture have I seen a color that is not tan, green, or black, or maroon.
Brownish, yeah.
Maroon, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay? That is literally their entire color scheme for this ape culture. So I want to know who, A, created hot pink.
Where did they get it from?
Yeah, and where did they all of a sudden start dyeing this and making this and sewing it into stuff? They're like, you know what? We need hot pink and black flags.
General Zaius, we got all this hot pink. What should we do with it? Flags, gentlemen. You'll make flags with them.
I mean, all of a sudden, hot pink. It was
hold our banners up high.
You know what? It was an artistic choice. The producers went with it.
But, I will say I think it is a stark contrast that says to an enemy far away, granted it's hot pink, that, whoa, you know what I mean? These guys are, they're bold. This isn't like, hey, we got a flag that's got something on it. This is like...
Well, real armies use pink.
Yeah, I guess so. And you're gonna notice that army coming. And they have some awesome backpacks. I love the backpacks. I don't know. I'd love to get one of the actual prop backpacks. They're just a square backpack with a flap over it that obviously latches, but they're all the same, and they're all just nice and rectangular. They're rectangular backpacks, and I want one. If there's a couple of of props from these movies that I'd like to have. I'd love to have one of those backpacks. It'd be good to hold books in, my role playing game books. So
I'd like Dr. Zaius' desk from the TV show.
That would be cool.
That would be.
Oh man, the architect, in that they had some great pieces in that TV show. And I'm looking forward, obviously, to talking about that. So it flashes. They're taking off. They're going to go check out the Forbidden Zone. They're going to go kick ass out there. And then you have this great scene where Brent wakes up and him and Nova go looking. They go kind of exploring, and they see this amazing scenic shot of the ancient New York Stock Exchange, Radio City Music Hall. All of those are
the library.
The library
and
there.
East 51st Street. which I wrote all these down specifically because I meant to this week and I didn't get to it. So if anybody listening wants to check it out themselves and let us know, I wondered how close those are in relation to each other in real life.
Probably not.
Because I'm wondering how far he walked.
Could be a long time.
You know, that's what I was wondering.
Way.
To get an idea of distance, I was wondering if you look up those 4 landmarks, how far apart are they in real life? How far did they travel underground?
And, of course, the flip side of that could be that some of those buildings were shifted and moved around with tectonic plates and geothermal activity underneath when all this stuff happened. But that scene right there, when he goes underneath the subway, whenever they travel through this New York City, to me, I always enjoy the moments, not only of the TV show, but of the movies, where you get to see ancient Earth the way it was, buildings and stuff like that, and that correlation between the two, and especially the effects they use to do it so good. You know, so it's one of my favorite scenes. And then they have there's this weird sound that's all of a sudden starts going through the air, and it never really makes sense. I think it's some sort of they talk about it kind of later on. There's a boundary that the mutants that you'll see later on. They kind of put up that lets them know when someone is coming, or maybe to attract them. So it's not really extremely made clear, but it lures him in a certain direction. And it's a very good-looking scene whenever he's going through these kind of like circular pipes in the ancient subway system or sewer system, whatever it is. And they come across this church, which is funny because the camera doesn't really go, hey, look, here's a church. It does a little bit. But they're not really interested in that. They're interested in this fountain that has stagnant water in it. Now, understand, they're thirsty.
This water's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you've got to move stuff out of the way to dip your hands...
when you have to brush terrible
trash,
dead things away.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows what it was?
Was it leaves?
It doesn't matter, man. Sitting down there underground for all that time, I mean, it had to have been terribly polluted. I mean, no doubt when the film was over, Brent had diarrhea.
Well, he was dead.
Well, spoilers. So, spoilers.
I don't think the diarrhea matters.
Never mind.
I don't think diarrhea matters at the end of the movie. I think they all had body diarrhea.
Never mind. We'll get to this in a second, but you're right. The dysentery didn't have time to take effect.
No, it needed a little time to brew. I don't know if he had anything really solid on his gut. If he could get some rice on his stomach or something like that. He could, maybe he could do something.
So he gets a drink.
Yep.
After he brushes stuff aside, he tells nobody to get a drink.
Well, no, it's nasty. Remember, it's nasty, and they start walking away, but then all of a sudden it starts squirting.
Yeah, fresh water.
Yeah, fresh water. They think it's fresh. Comes up out of the top.
Who knows where it came from?
Yeah, it starts to, it starts coming out of the top, and so they drink some of that, and he's like, "Oh, this is good. Drink some." And then what happens?
He starts trying to drown Nova.
Yeah,
he grabs her by the back of the head and just shoves her face into the stagnant water and just holds her there.
Yep.
She's basically about to die. And I didn't really see the point of that.
Well, the mutants
I know the mutants were causing it,
yeah.
but I don't see the point of why the mutants are making him do that.
And they wanted to talk to him.
What does it benefit to make him kill his companion?
Well, you know what? I bet it was because they knew that she couldn't talk. Maybe the mutants know that she couldn't talk. She wouldn't be able to tell it, so there was no point of having her.
But they can read minds anyhow. So...
Well, maybe her mind's dumb.
Well, she had dumb mouth.
Well, she knew we'd go back to Dr. Zira and Cornelius, so she's not too stupid.
Well, maybe that's what it was. Maybe they were worried that they would bring the apes there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I hated it. I hated that. So they go into the church.
But she just kind of disappears as he kind of stumbles back and goes to the church doors and goes into it. And then you get to see the inside of the church, which again is an incredible set piece. I just love the way it looks. And you get to see the bomb with Alpha and the Omega written on it, the gold bomb. It's just a phenomenal... Yeah, it's a nuke. It's the nuke of all nukes.
And there's a...
and that's not the drug.
There's a guy praying to it.
That's right. There's a guy praying to it. It's a great scene where you kind of go, whoa, here's somebody else. Something else is going on. And it's kind of an answer a little bit about what's happening. So, he's trying to ask some questions. He gets grabbed by a couple goons, probably hired goons. And he's taken to go see these 5, I guess they're kind of like overseers is what I would call them. Overseer dudes, each in different colored robes, which I think is a really cool scene when they pull him out. They're standing on this kind of staircase balcony.
And this is a great scene for James Franciscus because he carried, and this is another great scene in the movie for him as an actor. I mean, because he carries the entire scene.
Yeah,
because they don't speak because they're speaking to him telepathically.
Right.
So you're learning all the questions they're asking him through his dialogue,
his answers. It's Jeopardy, pretty much.
Right. He's the only person talking, so it's a great scene for him in that regard. And I also want to note here, based on the questions they were asking him, and then the things they say at the end, I put on my notes, mutants equal uppity assholes. They're uppity assholes.
Pretty much.
What they are.
They pretty much are. Well, they're very xenophobic.
Yeah.
They're super xenophobes. And even if it's another human, they don't really care. And they show that by, they hate something. They hate his brains. So they attack his brains numerous times.
Yep.
They despise his brains. And it shows you the power that they have between the illusions, the mental damage that they're able to inflict. You know, it's on your mind, but, you know, you think it's real. And it's just a cool scene with the checkered floor on the bottom that he's standing on. It almost kind of reminds me of a scene from an original Star Trek episode. I think, wasn't there one with Kirk had some, like, god or some being that was...
I don't know, it just looked like a big chessboard to me, is what it looked like.
And, so they show some pretty, cool things, with that scene there. And then they start talking to him, they start to explain it a little bit more. It flips back to the apes, and the ape army.
They're about to cross into the Forbidden Zone.
Right.
I guess really mutant territory, as far as they're at
mutant
this point.
territory. And the mutants, obviously, their defense mechanism is to throw up these illusions, and there's some crazy damn illusions between the fire. You see the lawgiver, and they're
bleeding,
all
from the eyes.
Good lord, some of the apes, and there's it's funny, you see a whole mess of these actors, extras, in their gorilla outfits and makeup and stuff and masks, of course, B team, C team, and there's always just one guy who's going extremely ape, as I will use that term. And all the rest are they're afraid of it, but one guy's like, hey guys, I'm really going to ham it up if that's all right.
Well, you know what that is? That's that guy saying, we're all in these fucking masks. I'm never going to be seen on camera, but I am going to be able to tell my family I was the guy really hamming it up with his arms in the air.
I'm going ape shit right there.
Yeah, so that's definitely me. That was me.
And there's always just that one dude, but it's just a funny scene. And the lawgiver starts crying at blood. It falls over, or some of them more go crazy.
And that's where they made a mistake. The mutants.
Yeah, they pushed it too far.
Right, because Dr. Zaius was like, no. I mean, our leader, that we pray to, our God, basically, he wouldn't fall down. Right. And that's when his faith, he's like, everybody else is ready to turn around and leave.
Right.
And Dr. Zaius is like, fuck this. He rides his horse straight into the fire.
Yep.
No fear whatsoever. I mean, he just charges right into it. And he turns around. It looks like he's in the middle of the fire. And he just tells everybody,
this is trash.
Yep. He's like, nothing.
You've been X'd.
J.P. Kennedy showed up in the movie.
You've been X'd. He's probably listening to this. He's got nothing else to do.
It's true.
He's probably having a good beat-off session right now.
Wow, it's terrible. And
this is the first time we hear the phrase, ape shall not kill ape. So, very good scene. I don't know. I can't remember exactly in what reference that was, but ape shall not kill ape.
Ursus, because they made it look like there were apes being crucified and burning.
Yeah.
And Ursus orders them to be shot.
Right.
Basically put out of their misery.
Yeah, put out of their misery.
And that's when Dr. Zaius says it. The scrolls say, ape shall not kill ape.
Oh, man.
That's what it was.
So, and then it goes back, and I believe this is where they're in
front of the nuke.
Yeah, they're in front of the nuke. All the mutants are out there now, and they all look like a wide variety of people, of different races, female and male, and they're all in their robes and their little caps, and they're all chanting, and it is a very kind of creepy scene for Brent and Nova, and just overall kind of a really cool moment in the movie. And
despite their physical differences, what they all have in common is their angelic singing voices.
They do have some good singing. Well, they've had many years to perfect it. And you've got to think, over these years, this is generations and generations of mutants that have been doing this,
Right. So
then the reveal happens, when they're going to reveal their true self to their god, which is the bomb. They take off their masks, which are uncannily good. I mean, just amazing masks.
Yeah, it must be, because when they take off their faces is basically what they all laid in a chair and had the latex mask made of their faces first.
And then what do they look like? How would you describe the way they look whenever they reveal their mutant selves? Just veiny.
Yeah, veiny.
Vein heads.
They look like, basically, like if you took Freddy Krueger's skin, but then colored it the way you would imagine, like just blue and red veins running through like flesh.
Yeah, they
That's
all
what they
look
look
like
like. And it was good makeup.
It's good makeup.
It is. I actually like it. It does look good.
I know the guy who did makeup. He did some research on burn victims and people that had,
You know the guy?
Well, yeah, he's a good buddy.
Okay.
And so yeah, he did that. But it's kind of creepy shit, though. You know what I mean?
Like, I do believe when they all peeled their faces off. I have written down Brent almost passes out.
Well, yeah, it's again
because he's like, oh god,
he's taking a lot of shockers within a short amount of time. If you think about it,
yeah,
you know.
I mean, if what ultimately happens to him wouldn't have happened, he probably would have ate a bullet.
Oh yeah. What's the point?
Yeah, why would you want to?
Unless you wanted to be like Taylor and just take off with Nova. That's they leave the Nova there so he doesn't eat a bullet. You know what I mean? He's like, well, I got her, and that works.
So after they leave the Satanic Church, which by the way, all the doors have upside down crosses.
It's odd.
I don't know who flipped all these doors around in these churches, but every door in this place pretty much is like that.
Yeah, it's all right.
After they leave the church,
it's to shock you.
They take his ass to prison. Like, we're going to throw you in this cell.
Yep. You're going to jail, and you're going to have a cellmate. Who was the cellmate?
The 8-foot tall Charlton Heston.
He does seem like he's 8 feet.
Or conversely,
yeah, that's it.
Brent is 4 feet tall.
He's about 4 feet tall.
When they stand together, somehow they know each other.
Well, they know each other from astronaut school. I believe that's probably true, that they knew each other from before, because it probably wasn't too long after they left. And so, when they were supposed to be back, and they were like, well, send somebody up there, or we got another thing, or whatever. But they knew each other, and that's cool.
But Charlton Heston towers over him.
Yeah, he towers over
in height. And it's amazing. I mean, and wider, too.
Yeah, he's wider.
This is when you really notice Brent's spindly arms.
Well, he's spindly. He's very kind of wiry, muscly kind of dude. And I like him.
Wiry.
Oh, I don't know. And it's a cool little reunion where they you get it. I mean, imagine, and this is the thing I'm trying to think of. Why is he standing up against those bars? Hey, I'd be on my foot. I'd be on my butt. I mean, he's been probably in there for weeks.
He was like squatting too.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be sitting down myself personally. So the bars in this jail cell are spiked. So already that should be a warning. Like, why do you need spike bars? Okay.
Well, the asshole mutant that tosses him in there.
Yep.
That was inflicting all the pain on him during the Q&A session.
Yep.
At the chessboard earlier.
Mm-hmm.
He basically literally speaks, doesn't just mentally tell it.
Yep.
He's like, we don't kill people. He's like, we make people just kill each other.
Yeah, we make them get rid of their problem that they have.
So
it's a brawl.
He initiates a fight between the two of them.
It's a fight between. And how was that fight?
It's a couple Kurt crushes. I remember that.
There's some Kurt crushes. There's a lot of kicks.
Yeah, I believe Heston is the master of kicks.
I think overall it's a good fight.
It was a good fight. It apparently went on a little bit too long for the mutant.
Yep, they were getting tired of it.
Because he tosses in basically one of the bars from the cage.
Yeah.
I mean, not obviously theirs.
It's a club.
But yeah, it's fashioned into a club. It's the exact same kind of spikes that's on the cage. Mm-hmm. And it's a big metal club. He tosses it in there, and it's like basically like, when do you guys use that?
Yeah, Beyond Thunderdome.
They start fighting again. Dumbmouth runs in. I don't know where she came from, and she screams out, "Taylor!" Taylor. That's bad.
That's actually better than what she did.
It was better than what she did. Yeah, because hers sounded like a mix between Sloth and Yoda saying Taylor.
Oh
no,
okay.
No. So
that gives him a moment of hesitation for the
the mutant,
the angry mutant, and he turns around.
Yeah, he turns around. So he's breaking it's broken the control that he has over Brent and Taylor.
Yep.
So
he gets sandwiched.
I believe Charlton Heston grabs him, throws his ass back against the side of the cell, which impales him on the back.
That's pretty cool.
And then they basically Iron Maiden him with the cage door.
It's a pretty cool scene.
They swing that door around, and it impels him from the front.
And you're kind of like, take that bitch. You know what I mean? At that moment right there. So it's a cool scene.
And just like Iron Maiden, they run for the hills.
And...
Where's that Megadeth? I don't know.
By this time, the ape army has infiltrated the church base, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay? And just...
All hell's breaking
loose. They absolutely just gun down this dude that's singing in front... that's in front of them.
Yeah, the choir director, if you will.
Choir director guy. Just eats him up with bullets. Great scene. And then poor Nova takes one. As a gorilla comes around the corner, they try to grab for his gun. She gets shot.
Yep.
And a little sadness there. Nova's down.
She dies quick.
She does a quick death. And then the apes are going through, and there's all these busts of the mutants, I guess leaders throughout the years and generations. And those are some pretty sturdy busts, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I mean, like it's been basically the mutant leaders of this cult for ages. I mean, because there's probably like 20 or 30 of them in there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
the apes hate them.
Apes hate these busts.
And they're like Kinder eggs. If you've ever seen a chocolate Kinder egg, completely hollow inside and just very easily smashed. So that's a cool scene where they're all just bashing because it's all heresy.
Yeah,
it's all heresy.
Smashing through there.
And what you have is you have a colliding of xenophobic forces. Is what this is. It's the humans. It's the mutants that hate they're only there for themselves, defend themselves. I mean, I understand you take a whooping and you're gonna retreat a little bit. And the apes that hate anything even remotely like this. And you have to think about this for the guerrilla army. Those dudes probably didn't know anything about Taylor. They might have heard about it.
They've probably never seen a human speak, obviously.
Right.
And now there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch, and there's a bunch of stuff that obviously they didn't make, and there's busts of humans. So they hate those busts.
Which, given, the fact that they've never heard humans speak, it probably freaked them out, which made it a lot easier to pull that trigger.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of trigger pulling going on.
That's right, because at the end he speaks. One of the guys, at the church, when the mutant speaks, and they're all like, "Whoa, he talks!" So that's a cool scene where they didn't say, "Whoops, we forgot about that," and these guys don't know that they speak. So they bust into the church, and this is the big finale. You've got Brent and Taylor,
who both have guns at this point. They both have guns, and they're out for vengeance for Nova.
Yep, they're out for vengeance for Nova. You've got this bomb sitting in the middle of these two xenophobic peoples. You've got, and there wasn't a whole. Where was all the mutants?
Well, at this point, the mutants have pretty much been gunned down or run away.
But there were so many mutants in the church, and then they weren't there at the end of the
because
movie.
I think they start scattering when the apes first get there.
They're wusses.
But at this point, the apes have taken over the church,
right.
And Dr. Zaius orders tear down that bomb.
Right.
Like so, they're throwing ropes up there and trying to get it where they can start pulling it down.
And I wonder if the mutants can't do their mental pain on the ape brain.
Maybe it's too primitive.
Possibly so.
Or their skull's too thick.
That's it. Skulls are too thick. So they start pulling down the bomb because they want to destroy it. That's their god. We're going to destroy it. Brent and Taylor are
shooting apes.
Well, they're sneaking around. That's when they're getting sneaking around. They pull it down.
Well, because they spread out. They get on each side.
Yeah.
For crossfire.
Crossfire happens, and Charlton Heston gets shot. They see him.
Yep, he takes one.
He takes one. He gets shot. Brent sees that, and Brent goes buck wild with his gun.
Yeah, he probably mows down, I would say, 8 to 10 apes.
Yeah.
Just starts, it's like one-shot kills everywhere.
And it's a brutal shootout scene that starts happening.
Yep.
With people getting gadded up. And General Ursus, I've got written here, "Fuck you, Ursus," as he goes down in some good shots. And this is at the end. And now what I heard through my IMDb people is that Charlton Heston actually came up with the ending of this movie. He decided on set what should happen.
Well, don't forget Brent also goes down a hill of gunfire.
Oh man, Brent gets
which
shot
is a sad
up.
moment.
It's a sad moment for me. As I particularly enjoy Brent a lot, and he's that scene where he falls up against the back of the wall in the blood, and
you just see it splatter all over the wall as he kind of slides down. But he probably took I would say 20 to 50 shots.
It's just a huge bloody
20 to 1,000 shots.
Yeah, 20 to 1,000 shots, somewhere in between there, give or take a couple hundred. It's just a big scene, and it's also a moment where you just kind of realize that this is what happens when two ignorant xenophobic groups get together with weapons, and they're not willing to talk about it or have any time to debate. Like, what would happen? Lots of times these movies, they talk about it, and if we can do it, you can do it. We'll all be friends, and
Well, Rocky did it in the Cold War.
He did,
but Charlton Heston ends the war a different way.
He does in the World War.
He reaches up to the Superman crystals that control everything.
What does he say?
I don't remember.
Do you have it? He goes,
I have it.
"It's doomsday."
Yeah, it sure is.
No, he says it's doomsday before Brent dies, and then as he's reaching for it, I have written that he says, "Bloody bastard," and he reaches for it. He pushes it down, and I have here.
I'm gonna be interested in what you have written and what I have written.
Adios, world.
Adios, world. I put Taylor destroys the world equals movie over.
Exactly. But I like the way at the end that they did it. They kind of show the bomb and stuff, and it's you obviously know it's going to blow up.
White flash.
Yeah, white flash, and then it's just a voice And I think does it have a scroll with the writing?
I don't think it does that.
It does. I think it does. We'll go with that. I'll say I'm correct on that. And it's just a cool voice where it's kind of like somewhere in a galaxy, a star with was it a planet?
It was like a blue planet.
Yeah, a blue planet that circles a star.
Burns up.
It burns up and is no more. It's kind of like it at the very end. Just that little saying shows you it's like, you know what? In the grand scheme of the universe with space travel and stuff like this,
didn't matter.
It didn't really matter. It wasn't. It's kind of like, to us, it means so much, but to the universe and the cosmos, if we see something blow up, a planet or a star or something, it snuffs out a couple planets or whatever the star does, we might not think about it. But if something disappears, we might not know that maybe there was civilizations on there that went through something like this, and now they're gone. And so in a blink of an eye, planet's destroyed, but the real story was, on that planet, they, what happened on there to do it. But to the cosmos, they don't care. It's just like, planet's gone. No big deal.
Yeah, it's just a universe going on.
And that's the end of Beneath the Planet of the Apes. So what is your final take on the movie overall? I
like the movie. Like we said, there's a lot of action in it. It's pretty fast-paced. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of slow moments in the movie.
Is there something you don't like?
I thought the mutants were assholes. I mean, not. I don't have a critique of the movie that I don't like. They did a good job making me hate certain people in the movie.
Right.
I hated those fucking mutants, man.
Well, because of the way they look, or just their ass kicking.
They were just fucking assholes, man.
Yeah.
Like, we don't like you. We don't want you bringing apes
here.
They're
just so protective, I guess.
Yeah, like you said, xenophobic. They were xenophobic, and I just hated them for their. I mean, for our species, essentially, to have evolved to that point, mm-hmm. you would think they'd have a little tolerance.
But they've only been by themselves, and I guess you think about they probably told stories to themselves, and they knew about. I believe they said like the hairy ones or the shithead ones or something like that. They had some term they used for the apes.
Yeah, it was like hairy ones or something.
Yeah, the
like
asshole ones or something. And so anything else? That's about it. Pretty good.
Yeah.
And what number was that for you? The second one.
I believe it was number 2.
Number 2, like mine.
Yeah, number 2. Well, that about does it for this episode. Unfortunately, we've gone a little bit long, so we're gonna have to push James Franco back.
I'd like to tell you what I thought about the movie.
Oh yeah, what'd you think? We'll squeeze it in.
I loved it. I have nothing. There's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, what were you saying?
Well, James Franco was ready to go, but we're out of time. So,
well, our apologies to James Franco. We'll try to get him in the next episode, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure he'll come back. And
now we're about to fire up Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
So next week, we'll be back into the swing of things. Mm-hmm. Get it? Swing of things?
Wow.
Apes.
Yes.
Bad puns.
Do apes swing, right?
I don't know, dude.
Well, chimps do.
You mean swing like...
Okay.
Like Cornelius and Zero or Dr. Zaius was coming over? Or... I don't know what you mean, but they had fishbowl key parties.
There's probably a lot of hair in that bed afterwards.
God, that's terrible.
A lot of orange hair.
Matted hair.
Yeah, matted orange and dark hairs.
This is taking a terrible turn.
It really has. Well, I can't believe you talked about Jamie Kennedy beating off. I can't believe that.
I don't think that was me.
That was you, dude.
Well, the tape will tell the truth.
And
the tape. What year is this?
His mind's mush.
I've been awake for a long time today.
He has. He got up very early to go to Heroes Con, Charlotte, North Carolina.
And there you go, full circle.
That's Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Now, we're going to watch Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
Sadly.
And you need to understand that you can very much see that this was a case of where producers and Hollywood types sit there and said, all right, you blew up the world. Great. Now what do we do? Well, we're going to do something completely different, and we've got to make a third movie. So let's pull this out of our ass. But I think it helps prolong, obviously, the other sequels, but it adds to, ultimately, these 5 movies. So it was a good choice they made. It doesn't make a whole bunch of sense, but we'll talk about that next week. And I'm looking forward to watching it again.
I'm not, but I will, because I agreed to it for the rest of my life.
You got to watch it over and over and over again. I'm thinking that probably about 5 to 6 years, we'll be able to say each one of the lines in each one of the movies.
I'm thinking
verbatim.
I'm thinking if we're still doing this in 5 or 6 years, I'm going to eat a bullet.
All right. Well, let's pick that bullet out and let's just hold on to it.
I'm going to write on it, go ape.
Alpha and Omega.
Alpha and Omega on the bullet.
So I think we got a song at the end, don't we?
Yeah. Should be coming in right about now.
So tune in hopefully next week for our Escape from the Planet of the Apes. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And again, shout out to Rick Crespo. He's a good guy.
Yep.
Good human being.
Rick, if you have to create fake names, just leave us more reviews on iTunes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I think that's it, right?
Yep. So until next time.
Go ape.
Go ape.
Go ape.
Girl, I love to show you my true love. Oh, I think I want to know you. Oh, true love. Yeah. Girl, I love to show you. Wait a minute. You